Hello traders, let's explain this Excel that you can see in front of you. Remember, this is good for you to understand your strategy and when you can move from backtesting to real life trading, and then you can actually say, okay, I'm ready. I can start trade. This is a good strategy. My money management isn't clear. Now I can move on. Let's start with these points off. Let's show you the Excel, how that works. So we start from phase 1 to phase 3. Then phase 3, we go phase 3.1, 2 and 3. We decide develop 3. And then we got a final stage of STT Daniel and STT Daniel aggressive. STT Daniel is conservative and I do 90% of the cases. Between 80 to 90% depends of the year, and the rest is actually happening with aggressive. So let's start with the Excel, how this works and why it's been actually look like this. We got this account is actually initial account of $10,000. We're looking to lose maximum of 5%, typical CTI traders in period. Then we're looking for the worst case that I will not do less than 50-50, and I'm looking for the worst case 1-to-1. So now I just have to do my backtesting for 3-4 years and I go 5 losses consecutive, because 5 losses consecutive can be 10 losses consecutive. So now we're gonna risk in $20 per trade, and in total, if I look to lose my account fully, it will be 25, because my maximum, which is my double, is actually 10. 25 is quite conservative. I can make it even more risky and I go for $40, but I will say that let's keep it for 20 in general for this exercise. Let me show you the table. Now I'm gonna go again for the worst case. So I'm gonna have 10 losses consecutive. Just started and I start to losing 10 times consecutive. And I go for my period of losses that you can see minus 2.5 plus my commissions cost loss. So I'm gonna add the 3. Depends of the pair, depends of the conditions, depends if you're swing trading or not, can be more or less. Let's make it 3 as an average. And it's quite representative. 3 is okay, something like that. So now you lost 2.5 plus the commissions. Now you go some winners, you start breathing, you relax a little bit, but you don't go that far, you lose again, and you go 3% in total, all the way lost right now. Yeah, but because you're quite disciplined trader, it will nothing affecting you, and you move all the way up to minus 0.9, which is actually pay commissions, because you're 50-50, you're not going anywhere. So you're still losing money, you pay to the broker. So be aware of that. On top of that, these numbers here represented kind of the minimum that will be you be affected psychologically if you have these losses. You start trading and you start losing, so you go this affecting you minus 1% and minus 2%. On top of that minus 2, you can have one more loss percent because you break your rules, because psychology has been affected, you start losing. When you start, even if you believe in that the strategy, you've been backtesting a lot and you are not happy because it's actually very unlikely that you start to losing so much that you don't understand what's going on, it's affecting you. You lost 3.5, then you go another loss, then you go 4.5 plus 2 can be 7.5 loss at this point, so it's quite drastically, and you go up and you don't recover totally your account, you actually down quite a lot. Be aware of that these kind of strategies with that minimum of risk and reward, a 1-to-1 and 50-50, it doesn't work. Phase 2. What do we have in phase 2? Now we're gonna go for phase 2, which actually the same thing, 50-50, but I improve my strategy, a nice 1-to-3 risk and reward. I make on them 5%. So I go the same principles, losses, a little bit better my recovery. I don't go below minus 2.5, which is an okay, and a disciplined trader, and I don't lose more than 1% in psychology. And actually I control myself even further than that. So I'm very happy and okay. I keep going 1-1-2, and they go down 2, they go 5 up, and they keep going this way. Very good. Let's move up to the next phase. Phase 3, we got a total of, we make 15%, but now we got a problem as well. This problem is different from the problem of losing. It's the problem of making too quickly and too much. If you're making too much money too quickly, you don't know what to do with it. So if you make it at the beginnings of the time, it's even worse. And I'm gonna show you that later. But 15%, you make it the first time. So we're talking about high factor psychology is quite high. Can be minus 4, can be minus 15, you can blow up your account, you can lose more than your account. So it's very difficult to get into that point of. And I add the factor 1-to-6 risk and reward. Why? Because STT strategy have that minimum of 1-to-6. Some cases we go 1-to-4, 1-to-5, but we're talking about average minimum is 1-to-6 risk and reward, which is a big difference in those particular strategies that you can see everywhere. So it's quite important to be aware of this. Let's move on to phase 3.1. What do we have phase 3.1? Is the same thing, but this time we just start making money straight away. We're just making money, so our factor is actually, I would say 100%, we can lose the whole account, even more. This is actually very high. We make 16.7%. We got fantastic strategy, but we go 50-50%, and that's what happened. We just making money first, we don't lose it first, and we go all the way up. Fantastic, beautiful, but the psychology factor will take it away your account and you will lose in the long run. Some people not, the majority will. So let's move on to phase 0.32. What happened there? We just changed the strategy a little bit better, so we just make it even worse. in this case. We're gonna make still the 1.6, but we're gonna make it even worse. We're gonna lose 70% of the time, and we make 30% of winnings only. Because we are 1 to 6, we're still kind of making money, but the situation is looking like that. It's a bit rough because you go all the way up, all the way down. Factor psychology, you don't go anywhere for a long time, then you start to move on, maybe you go back again to -6, so you don't go anywhere. So it's kind of a bit drastically movements, and it's not going on there anywhere. So you have a very good strategy, but you don't have very win rate, so it's not going anywhere on the end. Now let's move on to the STT strategy, Daniel Martin. So this strategy, this place actually lost 21 trades in total, 70% to 30. So on top of that, I add 10 losses consecutive twice, which is quite a lot. Yeah. So I've been taking partials, I've been very conservative, and I've been taking partials earlier to make some money before. So that making my final target less profit because I take profits before, and I got few side gurus that I haven't have many more than 2. So I haven't been very lucky, and I have very bad year. So let me explain to you what is actually representing these colors and what typical will be happening in this case. So we got 10,000 account dollar. Win rate 1 to 6, we haven't have better, we haven't have worse, so we go for the lows 1 to 6. We got 10 consecutive losses, well, we got 5 losses consecutive, what I consider double, is 10. Then we're gonna risk in $20 per trade, but why $20? Because our account is gonna be maximum of 5%. I don't wanna risk in more than $20 per trade, and means if I go 25 losses consecutive, I lose my account. And we have said that we're gonna lose 10 consecutive losses as a maximum. Something like that may happen. Even I can actually increase to $40, and I still have for 5 more trades to working on. So let's move on to the next, to actually what this colors represented. So we got the green ones is the winners, the yellow ones is actually the loss, and then the orange is actually the plan B. So we do have a 9 winners, 21 losses. So it's a very bad year, but we have 2% profit. So we're gonna take 9 trades, and we take 25, we take partials on 25 profits on. So 25% we take a profit, and we cut that, and we get $15 from that. Then we got some of the trades hit that area on the 50%, which is actually the final target, is 1 to 6. And we're gonna take 50%. We already, at this point, we have got 75% of our profits, and we make some money from that. Now, the next one, we're gonna risk in our profits at 25%, you know, those ones that's good, and we're risking everything to double or nothing. We managed to do 4 trades like that. And then we have 2 more of those 4 trades, then we managed to do another double, and we got no more side gurus after that. Okay, now let's talk about the losses. So now we have 21 losses. So we go 11 losses fully lost. Nothing, we make nothing there, we have nothing to do, but we go 5 of them that actually we managed to cover half of the losses because we go different entries, we move our stop losses, we go manage to have some profit there, and then we go half loss. Then we go 5 of them break even. Okay, now let's talking about the plan B. From plan B we got 11 losses, which actually represented some trades. So we got 11 losses here, we got 5 fully lost again, we go the plan B again lost, we don't take another trade in the opposite direction, and we got a break even 5 of them. From the 11s, we managed to get 5 of them to target 2, which is actually 1 to 6, and then we got a 1 side guru on 3 of them. So that is the conclusion for these numbers. Now, well, that's the summary for these numbers. Now we got this commission space of, or every time you take a new trade, where we just didn't add the partials, I just add every time you take the trade, I add the whole thing in there, which is actually an average of 3. So if you look now the chart, you can see the drops down is quite smooth. You go up 6%, it's actually slowly down 1%, we control the losses, and we go all the way up. Now let's do the more aggressive way of Daniel Martin. This is 90% to 80% of the time, and sometimes I do this aggressive one. Let me show you. So the aggressive one is actually pretty much the same, but we got one different. Now we're gonna see, I'll show you the chart how drastically work out. You control the losses, you go up, at one point you go a big loss. Then you actually control the losses, you go a big up, and then you control the loss. If you want to use this for STT accounts, you need to take a consideration to this number, and actually you may actually need to reduce from 20 to 5 to be able to this, instead of be 6 or 7 to be 1.5 or almost 1.7 or 1.8. So then you can control your losses. You don't lose the 5% at one go, and you will be fine to moving forward for many years. So let me explain now how works the typical aggressive, this 3.3. It's very simple. I will explain why you should not as well not take it. I don't take it myself, and I got quite a lot of years experience. Let me explain to you why later. First, I'll explain to you how it works. So you just do 20 losses. As soon as you go the first win, you double. And you double, you continue double it until you go to the first loss, and then you continue doing again the negative losses again. You continue loss until you go to the first winner, until you double, until you do loss again. And that's why you got the losses, and then you go back to the unit. So after this one it will be 20 again risk. Why I don't do this one? Because this actually doesn't have partials, they don't have plan B, they don't have any kind of Satgurus that you can make 10 times more. With nothing risk, because psychology will not be affected. So for me, it's very important to go to the lowest possible psychology factors. This is the highest psychology factor that you will never have with this one. That's what is represented in the chart. You make 20, 30, 40, 37%. You go all the way up you go, all the way you go down and more. It's like it's inevitable. The feelings that coming in there is just impressive. When you go into that situation, you just actually thinking you are the best. Nobody can talk to you, nobody can say anything. You are a magician. You make money as you touch anything, is make it gold. So you just very careful with this way of doing it. So that is why I create the STT Daniel aggressive, which is actually the same thing, but you take your partials, you do your plan Bs and so on. So if I go back to the Daniel STT aggressive, you will see that I've been actually double when it's plan Bs as well. So independent of winning or losses, I take my plan Bs as well and take in consideration, and I double the plan Bs and the plan As as well. Moving forward, I'm still making 27%, in this case 26 minus the drop. You control, you see that's where you got the drops, see how drastically is those drops, how big is the movement, how you control your losses mark again. But in this case, obviously, we're talking about you got 10 losses consecutive, 1 win, 3 winners, and then you 3 losses consecutive. But what happens if you go win, loss, there will be a roller coaster up and down, which is actually a bit more painful for trader psychology factors. So keep it simple, thinking about what is best for you, thinking about what actually works for you psychologically, and take it from there, but always very carefully and thinking before you're going to take the trades, what is going to be your exits and entries. Make sure that you take some profits here and then, and your psychology factor is going to the minimum. Okay, so see you online, guys. Let's continue trading together. Have a good day.